Good evening. I'd like to call to order the North Branford Planning and Zoning regular meeting for February 1st, 2024. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I'd like to introduce the commission members seated here tonight. To my left is Ron Sienna, regular member. To his left is Trish Mason, regular member. To her left is Barry Ponder, regular member. And to Barry's left on the far end is Paul Morano, regular member. To the far right is Kim Slater, our recording secretary today. And sitting at the administrative table is Dave Perkins, our planner. Finally, my name is Robert Nowak. I'm the chairman for the commission seated here tonight. Next order of business is to consider the approval of minutes for December 14th and January 18th, 2024. Take a moment to review the minutes, and if you have any corrections or adjustments to the minutes, I'll entertain those at the time, and when you're ready, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as noted. The February 14th meeting is Ron, Barry, and Paul, so we can move that off the docket today. And the January 18th is Ron, Paul, Trish, and myself, so we can move these off the docket. So when you're ready, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 14th, 2023 and January 18th, 2024.
We have a second?
I second.
For both?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So we have one motion for two agendas. We have December 14th, myself and Trish abstain from that meeting minutes. And January 18th, we have Barry abstaining from that meeting minutes since they were absent.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you guys. So that takes care of that. The next item on the agenda this evening under old business is application 2023-18. Amendment to zoning regulations. I'll read it for the record for those watching out there in Neverland. To add section 39 to establish a multifamily housing district as an overlay zone in R40 or R80 zones that delineates in an area that is suitable for mixed-use multifamily residential and small business development within a quarter mile of a bus station or proposed station and adjacent to a state highway. Minimum lot size is 5 acres. Maximum density is 20 dwelling units per acre. The applicant is North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission, us. So with that being said, we have the final draft, I would imagine, in front of you guys. There's a change that we wanted to be consistent on 39.2 parcel eligibility. We deleted not less than 200,000 square feet and changed that to 5 acres to be consistent with the change on 39.6 under lot size. The next change from our previous meeting was in section 4. This is developmental standards, 39.6 developmental standards. Section 4 under landscaping shall be provided and permanently maintained as follows. We added native and semi-native plants shall be used. A complete landscaping plan and pictorial presentation showing the visual landscape barrier after 1 year and in the 5th year as seen from the state route was added to that paragraph.
This is a new proposal.
This is something new that was incorporated, not discussed from our last meeting.
Okay.
So that's new. So what do you guys think about that? That change to section 4. Where we added that little comment based on our discussion for native and semi-native. I captured that from the 2020 mandatory district for the HUD standards for multifamily housing. So,
Quick question, large trees of 4, I take the double quotations as inches?
yes.
Oh, okay, that is supposed to be inches? Okay.
Inches, yep.
What does that mean though? What is large trees of 4 inches caliber or greater?
So the idea is to kind of qualify what a large tree is.
Okay.
Is a large tree 18 inches? Is a large tree a pencil?
Oh, I gotcha.
So it's kind of distinguish it. We can just leave it out there, take it out if you want.
I didn't, again, sometimes I don't have the context for, or the
And Trish,
experience in life, I'm just like, what's the 4 inches?
the last paragraph is really, the last sentence is really for you.
Yeah, I get it, I was just like,
Actually, it's for everybody involved. The pictorial presentation, I don't know if that's inaccurate. If that's
Yeah.
something we want to say, you could wordsmith me on that one.
no, I just, for that, I was like, is that supposed to be 4 feet, 4 inches? I just didn't know what that meant. Because in my more layman brain, I'm like, how's a large tree 4 inches? That's all.
Well, it qualifies it now, right?
When it gets planted, it's 4 inches, then it's gonna grow.
In diameter. Round.
Oh,
The trunk.
yeah, no, we got that.
All right.
We can change it to diameter instead of caliber.
That might help.
Hey,
Or, I
if it
don't,
makes it easier, because it's not about us, it's about everybody else who reads it and
yeah.
those following
that was
after us,
good.
right?
It's
So,
confusing me. I'm a good person to go off of with
Okay.
confusion in this world. For the public.
so let's change the caliber to diameter. Does that make
Yeah,
more
that
sense?
helps.
Okay. So the first sentence, do we want to add that about the native and semi-native species? Is that important? I don't think a landscaper's going to plant invasive
Yeah.
species.
No, I would say leave it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Because bamboo is a visual barrier, but an invasive species.
Correct.
Yes, very much so.
Right? Okay.
And by saying native and semi-native, we do mean not invasive?
Native to Connecticut.
Okay.
I don't think we ever asked for a landscaping plan in our regs prior to this incorporation. Since we're going to such lengths in improving the landscaping topic,
very important.
you know, why not have it in there to add to our visual acceptance of the project, not only us, but everyone else
Yep.
who comes to look at it. We okay with that statement as written? Okay. So next section is section 5, landscape buffer. We added in the item or the sentence, an evergreens buffer shall be, wait, I'm on the right one. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Section
I want to
5.
make sure I get the right statement. Okay. An evergreens buffer shall be provided of the type and density that provides a visual I added the word pleasing that we haven't discussed. We were pleasing barrier obscuring the complex from adjacent state highway route throughout the year. So with that being said, I thought it needed to be clarified a little bit more. At what point in time is it going to be obscured?
Yeah.
Year 1, year 15, 30? So then I added in, I said, the visual landscape barrier shall consist of a combination of dense type evergreens, site topography, earth burns, and/or accent New England style rock walls to help achieve a minimum height of 10 feet as seen from the state route, with the visual screening completely obscuring the complex by the 5th year. It ties into number 4 where the guy says, comes in front of us and says, here's my landscaping plan, here's a picture from whatever state route, and you can see the spacing of the trees. And the reason why I did the 1st and 5th years with the idea that if I wanted to obscure the building right from year 1, by year 5 the plants will be killing each other. They'll be choking each other out, so there's an ability to provide enough width between the trees, so
Yeah.
by year, so our objective is to not see it by the 5th year. But at least the plantings are in place to be able to achieve that with a height. You're not gonna obscure or block the entire 3-story building, right? I don't think that's our intent.
No.
It's just to block from driving through, or guys sitting across the street in a residential section looking at it says, okay, I don't see it. It's further back, and the trees at some point in time will be tall enough to be able to obscure the vast majority of it.
So on that point, I would question the word completely.
Oh, you can change it to most or whatever you just said. Bob.
With the virtual screening obscuring the complex by the 5th year. I mean, you're never going to completely obscure it.
Right.
For somebody like me to enforce something like that, having the word complete is like.
Right, I did think of that, so that's why I put a
What's
height.
complete?
I put a height minimum without considering the height of the building or the complex. So I just said the complex, which is linear, but it's also, it's height and width.
Well, they're gonna have 10 feet high, and you're gonna look up, you're gonna see the top of the building
Correct.
anyway.
Yes.
I just, when you get values like completely and absolutely, and, then somebody comes to me and says, it's not complete. And I'm
Right.
like, well, let's go talk to the judge about that.
Okay. Want to eliminate it completely?
I would like to get rid of that
Okay.
word.
So the question that I would have then, is there enough information here to meet the objective of what we're trying to achieve in its current format, as worded?
Well, I think the developer's gonna have to come and show you some site plans, right?
Right.
And you wanna see some visual screening, and they're gonna have to do some work. Is it something that's gonna scare them off and make them go away? I mean, this is something that we would like. There's certainly, in a number of lots around town, there's already vegetation in front of the lot enough to screen it.
Right. Okay.
When you sort of get into ambiguities, it's a little bit more difficult to determine what the commission wants and what the developer needs to present.
Okay. So Dave, in your opinion, you think just the way we put those a couple sentences together, does that kind of meet our goal, in your opinion, and what we're looking to try to achieve?
Yeah, I think we get rid of that word completely. It's okay.
Yeah, just the word.
Just the word, just saying the state route with the visual screening obscuring the complex by the 5th year. I think it gives them enough wiggle room to say. We didn't say absolutely or 100%. It just says, if you take that word out, it kind of means like, part of the majority.
Okay.
Majority of it needs to be covered, but really just taking that word out kind of gives us the wiggle room to, or Dave can have an argument with them, So I would keep the whole area in, just remove that word, that one word,
Okay.
with the visual screening obscuring the complex by the 5th year. It reads well that way.
Okay. Anything else, Dave, you think there needs to be?
No, I think it's good. I mean, you have the next line down, the commission may reduce the width and length of the landscape buffer. The proposed measures and or existing conditions satisfy the goal of privacy. That's a nice,
Ties it together, the nice
Yeah.
bow? Okay.
gives a little escape hatch.
Is the secondary line below in purple, except the visual barrier along the state route shall not be pruned, is that really necessary?
I don't think so.
That's eliminated then.
Quick question, where the physical barrier goes, I'm assuming it's gonna be put in a place where it's not gonna be in the line of sight of like taking a left or a right. Or is that something we need to say? Or that's automatic
That's automatic.
in here? Oh, okay.
So we're basically capturing just one picture of the complex from the state route, no other side street, just from front along the state highway looking at it.
And a landscape architect can determine how big a white pine tree is gonna grow in 5 years, right? I mean, you're an expert in that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I didn't like the white pine trees at 15 feet tall because are not dense enough to be able to block or obscure the building. They get too tall and they get all, anyway, it's I don't know how to, that's why I use the word dense type evergreens versus like the spruces
Right.
or the hemlocks. I know you said, as you call it, deer food.
Salad.
Arborvitaes are they're an evergreen, but not a tree type. But they do get that tall, 30 feet tall, over time.
As long as the deer aren't there.
As long as, yeah, exactly. So with that being said, does that kind of clarify, does that bring into,
I think the intent, you've certainly put your intent out there.
okay. So when a site plan developer, when it comes in, it doesn't have those particular dense type trees, then, the evergreens, then that's, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, because you don't want to see through it
Correct.
all year round, so, all right. Was there any other changes, corrections the commission would like to see in our regulation? Dave, did you have anything else that you wanted to change, clarify, wordsmith it, in your opinion?
No, I think everything is good.
Okay.
The other parts in blue, those are old changes, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm just getting confused, that's all. Oh, it's the gray now.
Yeah, there's some
It's
red.
the ones with the gray, the blue, gray are new.
Right, the
Gotcha.
red's the oldest.
Gotcha.
The setback, 39.6, the setbacks. You got 25 feet would be city road, 75 would be the state highway. Is that enough? If you go 3 stories,
Yes.
75 feet, it doesn't seem like a lot of footage. What's the reg for a house right now? What's the setback from our streets?
The R40 zone is some 15 feet,
15?
and the house can be 30 feet high, 35 feet high. I mean, a lot of times with these sort of developments where they have some height, it's actually more attractive to have them closer to a road than have them further back. If you have like a sidewalk in front of it and you have a streetscape with a building going up and it's not set way back, like in the city.
Some more visual pleasing, I think, like the Branford development. Right.
Yeah, something more visually pleasing than that, right, you said?
More,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's close, right? I haven't driven by it yet.
The,
55, off of 55, Barry.
I have horrible visual space with the
Yeah,
small
one.
building in the front.
Right. Yeah.
That's not horribly close, but the bigger buildings are further back.
Setback.
Yeah. I have horrible visual space, so I couldn't tell you in a million years.
Yeah, I
But
would
it
guess,
would be,
I would guess it's probably at
It's far back,
least
though.
75 feet, that original, that first set.
the first small building in the middle.
The first small building, I think,
And
probably
the other ones
still
are-
75 feet or more.
That's not that long, this room, how long do you think this room is? 60 feet?
Like from that
Yeah,
corner
but
to
when
that
you go by,
corner.
it feels, you're
Not
not like,
that
oh,
far.
it's close to the road, it's set back.
And then we have this landscaping buffer in front of it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of blocks it, so it's kind of diffused the whole spatial distance off the road.
That was it.
So Paul, just for comparison, industrial zone is 100 feet front setback. Business 1, 2, and 3 are 50 and 30. In R40s, minimum setback from street line is 50 feet. Just to give you some perspective on, this is not too far out of the realm of reason for approximation to the road.
Yeah.
Any other questions or concerns on our text amendment? The commission always has struggled with visual representations and anything that comes in front of our commission, being that we don't deal with that in our diverse background. So I think one of our conversations we've had in the development of this was to update our regulation to provide a more comprehensive visual representation within our regs. And I want to put that on our 2024 hit list for improvements.
And this is a good start because all our special permit regulations have different landscaping regulations. And then our general landscaping regulations are much less than, and I mean, it's a bit of a mess, as you just said. So
Okay.
it should be cleaned up and clarified, and that will help the commission and the applicants,
Okay.
along with our driveway and parking regulations, which are archaic as well.
And the list goes on, Dave.
Correct, but those are the top hits.
Okay, we'll work our way down and I'll elevate to the top of that.
It's a little interesting because all those special permits have their own little landscaping. It would be better if we could just reference one landscaping category.
That's
that-
exactly, I was thinking the same thing,
Yeah,
right? All the little pieces and parts just
so
go
it
go
ties
here.
it ties it together with a bunch of different changes. It's a
Right.
little bit more complex than just
Okay,
replacing the the landscaping regulations.
so they would just go to a certain section on our regs and go see here instead of.
Perfect.
Okay, all right, so we got
And
a
it's
little.
good from the engineering point of view and the public works point of view, we can sort of all tie that together with the way the streets are supposed to be developed, and we're all looking at the same document, so.
Okay. Okay, sounds like a plan.
Quick question, not that it's like non-negotiable by any means, but we talked last time about like putting the word orientation somewhere. I don't know where, but do we not need that? Do we, I forget where though. Was it, or maybe we don't need it. It might have been in
No, you're right.
15, I don't know, hold on, hold on. 39.6, bullet 15. Was it under 3? Or no, was it under 2?
15, exterior building design. Number 2, buildings shall be of such scale, comma, mass, and orientation that they relate to each other was our comment.
Oh, I must not have it in here.
So that's what we
Okay.
wanted to put in there.
Oh, so-
And it's not.
Okay. All right, we're also fine with that.
So we want to add that in 15.2.
What do we want, comma?
Scale, comma, mass, comma, and
Orientation.
orientation. Thank you, Trish.
Say that again?
So 15.2,
Yep.
right, it should read, buildings shall be of such scale, comma, mass, comma, and orientation that they relate to each other. Good catch, Trish.
Yeah, for that, I wish I could catch things that I forget from my kids like I caught that.
So Dave, one more point, and thank you, Trish. So let's go to number 10. Since this is our final draft, it's, number 10 under page 5, 39.6 development standards. It was common use areas is the title, and we took out the word sufficient common space. That should be deleted.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So it says shall provide space,
Common space,
common space?
yeah, to all its residents, so we
I
just
like
take.
it when you get rid of those words like that.
So, same page, page 5, under item 7, lighting. 1, 2, 3, fourth sentence down has the initials PRD. Again, we don't know what that was, so we're
Right.
just gonna cross it out.
Outside of the area.
Right, outside of the area, correct. Item 9, we deleted.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, jeez.
So this was the one I picked up that you edited, that you didn't have my edits
I
on.
didn't,
been a late night, I fell asleep.
did you? Admit it. This is the one you sent me, the 24th.
So we're moving all the numbers up after 8. Like common use area will be number 9 now?
Yes.
Okay.
On page 1, 39.2, parcel eligibility,
Yeah.
we had a big discussion about public sewer waters are available.
Yeah, but you know what, then when we got into the special use, it said they're required.
Correct.
So I think it's fine to leave it.
I agree. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Just to go back. Light shall be placed so as to shine directly outside the PRD area.
Yeah.
The PRD is the requirements document.
Oh,
So,
Do you want to leave that?
maybe we should spell it out.
What's the PRCD?
PRD is,
Guarantee regarding
product
the-
requirements document.
so that means whatever the light standard
Oh, yeah.
illumination is, but still,
Well, it's going to be required to meet the light requirements of the regulations, which is a dark light, requirement anyway, so.
Right. Yeah,
Okay, so we're covered in other areas for that.
so we'll just keep out PRD.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Ron.
Oh, thank Mr. Google.
All right. Okay. Anyone else have any concerns, comments, questions? One more time.
Well, then, whatever notes, whatever gap there is, it's all aligned now.
I think it is, right? Do we want to double check one more time, Dave, on what we want to change?
Sure.
How about you read it off instead of me reading it, then one, because you're the guy making the changes to the
So
regs, right?
I think, and Kim could help me here, that we got to page 4, and we changed caliber to diameter. And further down under 5, we got rid of the word completely. And further down, we got rid of except the visual barrier along the state highway shall not be pruned. And on page 5, we got rid of the word PRD under 7. We eliminated number 9. We renumbered everything after that. And we get to 15, which is now 14.
Stop you, Dave, go back.
Go back to 9.
Yeah, the new number 9.
The new number 9, and number 10. You got rid of sufficient?
We got rid of sufficient. Yep. Am I still on? And then we got buildings shall be of such scale, comma, mass, and orientation that they relate to each other. And that's it. How'd I do?
You did good.
C plus.
Fantastic.
I did well.
I'm sorry. You did well. I'm very good at numbers and math. English, not so much. Thanks, Dave. Well, that being said, no more comments or questions from the commission. Gonna entertain a motion to approve section 39, multifamily housing district, MFHD. Draft motion should be in front of you. Anyone?
I move to approve with an effective date of February 15th, 2024, planning and zoning application 2023-18, text amendment to add section 39, multifamily housing district, MFHD, to the regulations as proposed and in accordance with the POCD, which is the Plan of Conservation and Development. Applicant, North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission.
We have a second. Suggest a reason for approval to update that one? You have to read that too, or no?
I think after.
Oh, roll call vote. Roll call vote? Oh,
Whatever you want.
oh.
The first, Tricia needs a second.
We got a second?
We need a second first.
I'll second.
Second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? The motion carries. Congratulations.
Good work.
We did it. Only took us 7 months, but it's all right, we did it.
I think it's more than 7 months.
Yeah.
but-
Well,
Yeah.
well, all right, you're right. Next item on the agenda is new business. It's blank. No new business. Other business, zoning regs update. Is there
So-
zoning regs update?
So new business, some other business. There is an application for a doggy cat daycare center on Foxen Road that you'll be seeing in 2 weeks or so. I had conversations with a engineer about properties on Totoket Road, south of Foxen Road, specifically the property across from the Silly Putty Factory. They would like to expand what they're doing there. That's a residential zone, and it has a commercial use forever. And as a residential zone, they cannot expand their commercial use. So they would like to come and have a conversation with you about possibly changing that zone from a residential zone to a commercial zone. And they may also want to include the Silly Putty Factory across the street property as part of that rezoning.
So there's nothing, as you look at that property opposite the Silly Putty or the now temporary high school gym, to the right of that property is nothing, right? A white house, is that part of the business?
Yeah, there's some residential houses around, but it's not what I would consider to be a residential neighborhood on Totoket Road. Williams Road is the closest road.
Top of the hill or close to the, going
Yeah.
up the hill? Okay.
But I mean, we're lacking commercial property in town, and those are historically commercial properties. So I mean, the alternative use would be to build 5 single-family homes there.
Right. Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, because it's non-conforming currently. He can't expand without changing the zone, right?
Correct.
Because that's non-conforming, okay, gotcha. Okay.
And we also have this daycare change to the zoning regulations under House Bill number 6590, Public Act 23-142, that I haven't done anything about, so I will make sure I get that on the agenda for March.
Okay.
As you know, or I think you know, we have this grant from the South Central Regional Council of Governments to study the Northford Center. It's a $100,000 grant. We're just beginning to deal with it. So I've been dealing with the consultant in Scrog about the scope of work, and we're trying to narrow it down. The original scope of work that they presented proposed that they would come up with 5 alternatives of what to do in the Northford Center. And my reaction was, we already have about 10 alternatives. Let's not invent 5 more. Let's narrow them down to 2 or 3.
Right from the get-go, right? Exactly.
Right from the get-go. So we deal with the northern intersection, we deal with the southern intersection, and we deal with some sort of boulevard that gets into the storefronts and connects Middletown Avenue to Ardsley. Or even to Mansfield.
Mansfield.
So they did agree to narrow it down, and I think it sounds like we're off to a good start. I will email you copies of the scope of work.
I took a look at that scope of work. I had issues with, I think I may have told you in an email regarding the hours that they're billing for certain things. I thought that was not really necessary, and I'm in agreement with your analysis that 2 or 3 are fine, because it's about man hours and using the man hours up to consume the amount of money that we
Right.
are getting a grant for.
And they did respond to that and gave me a revised one
Good.
that reduced the hours and pretty much agreed with everything that you and I had to say about it.
Okay? So just
And they
for,
talked about density and growth, that they would use the state numbers.
okay. For the commission's information, there's going to be, if I understand correctly regarding this issue, once it starts, I believe they want to start March 1st in their study and their development of the project, but also there's an opportunity that there's going to be 2 public hearings.
There'll be at least 2 public hearings.
At least the 2, and according to the schedule, it's sometime in the summer is when they're going to, sometime in between June and August, somewhere around there, I think the end of June, we can anticipate having a presentation for the entire town on what their proposal is going to be, get some ideas. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, get reactions, there'll be a charrette, so there'll be sort of tables with different concepts, and do I like this, do I like this, do I hate that?
Right. It's not our first rodeo, so we've been, this commission hasn't been, at least I haven't, but the town's been through it. And my understanding is, the town of Branford is responsible for communicating with local community and stakeholders in an effort to get the public participation. So I'm assuming we're going to put out a good effort instead of 4 people at our planning and zoning meeting.
Right, no, I think we'll get a good group out.
Right.
And the consultant from BL who is overseeing the program is a resident of North Branford.
Perfect, all right, so he's well informed on what we're faced with, okay. Great update, Dave, thank you so much for that, I really appreciate that. Very exciting, so by the end of the year, according to the schedule that the consultant put together, final report to us will be sometime before Christmas. After a couple, 2 or 3 public hearings, and then they'll come up with a proposal, here you go. So, that's good news, good.
Right, and I was pretty emphatic that the goal of it is to come up with a product that we can use to go on and get a grant, rather than putting it on my bookshelf with all the other ones.
100% on
Right, and so, from the money standpoint of view, the town is responsible for the design.
Once it gets to well, I mean, there are grants that incorporate design, but typically grants only give you construction money. So if this gets us to an easy engineering place, that's a big help.
Okay.
So we'll have done the wetlands delineation, we'll have done some grading, there'll be enough information for somebody to really take it and go.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you for your update, Dave. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. So last meeting we had, we talked about marijuana. So I did some research and I wanted to share with you from the patch of June of 2022, 5 things to know about it. Here we go. When will retail sales start? There are no set state, let's see. There are no set date when retail sales will start, but state officials are aiming for the end of the year, what that was been 22. Possession of up to 1.5 ounces of marijuana has been legal since July 1st of 2021. Residents can store up to 5 ounces in a locked container at a home or transport in a locked glove box or trunk. Kent towns ban cannabis establishments. Municipalities are allowed to have 1 cannabis retail, 1 licensed micro cultivator per 25,000 residents. Municipalities have to approve zoning changes if they want to allow retail cannabis establishments. As of this writing, this was June of 22, a total of 18 municipalities, I think it's up to 19 now, have approved at least some zone change for cannabis establishments. Another 30 have issued moratorium, and 16 outright prohibit them according to the State Department of Consumer Protection. What about growing at home? Adults 21 and older will be able to legally grow marijuana starting July 1st, 2023. Medical marijuana patients 18 and older have been able to grow at home since October 1/21 of 2021. Homegrown limits are the same for medical and non-medical adults at 3 mature and 3 immature plants at any time. Plants must be grown indoors and not be visible from the street. They must be grown in a primary residence and where underage individuals won't have access. There are 56 available licenses across 8 license types related to retail marijuana. Each license type has a social equity lottery and then a general lottery. More than 8,300 social equity retail lottery applications and 7,200 general lottery applications have been submitted as of May 19th, 2022. There are 6 general and 6 social equity licenses available. Another 5,500 social equity and 2,900 general lottery applications have been submitted for multi-cultivators. This is a year ago now, almost 2 now. And there are 2 social equity and 2 general licenses available. What is social equity applicant? This is how the state defines a social equity partner. A social equity partner is a business entity at least 65% owned and controlled by an individual or individuals or applicant as an individual who had an average household income of less than 300% of or 3 times the state minimum household income over the last 3 tax years, and either was a resident of a disproportionately impacted area for at least 5 of the past 10, or was a resident of a disproportionately impacted area for the last 9. Disproportionately impacted areas are defined on the U.S. Census tracts that were disproportionately affected by the war on drugs. The formula is based on historical conviction rates of drug-related offenses and unemployment rates. Most of the tracts are located in or near cities. That's all I got for that. I heard something on the radio the other day that the permits for the cannabis establishment were $3 million. Permit or an application to sell it in Connecticut. I
The
don't know if that's.
application fee.
Application fee is $3 million. Wow. Okay.
And you have to have an equity partner who
Fits 22.
earns 300% less than the minimum wage in Connecticut,
Wow.
and lives in a distressed zone, and
Wow, that's crazy.
There's
So you
people that
bring
fit
them along.
Damn, $3
Believe it
million.
or
That's
not.
crazy. $3 million.
That's
Nice.
insane.
Sounds good to me.
Should $3 million.
Commission members have anything else to add? Dave, anything else on your end? Okay. Well,
Oh, I will put, oh, I'm
Oh.
sorry. I will put out another public servants announcement out there if anybody wants to take over doing the SCROG meetings. They have a burning desire.
Okay.
We'll keep that on the middle burner, I guess.
So, Trish, what was the participation, or how often did you guys?
Once a month,
Once a month.
5:15 to like 6 o'clock. I feel like it's always the second Thursday of the month.
And was it via Zoom?
Yeah, hybrid, you can be in person or
Hybrid,
Zoom.
okay.
Um,
And Sprague is located on Washington,
Yeah,
Route
the-
5 in North Canton, right?
Next to McDonald's,
Yes.
but they're also doing hybrid.
And you basically review zoning changes from the towns.
From everybody in the,
So there used to be a state statute that if we made a zoning change, we would have to inform all our neighboring towns about our zoning change. And they eliminated that, and when we make a zoning change, we tell SCROG. And
Yeah, to the
they
town.
meet with Trish's group and explain it to each other.
It's not nearly as labor intensive as this. It doesn't take as many mental resources. Because usually the person at SCROG does all the labor and the heavy lifting, and then makes the recommendation, and
they're really quick, easy meetings. Like I said, I just miss them a lot because my kids' sports now, especially with the spring coming up now with softball, I'll miss a lot. Like I said, if nobody cares if I'm missing them, fine, but, if anybody really wanted North Branford to have more consistent representation there, there's that. But they're usually over by like even 5:45.
Okay.
That's all. We don't have to make a decision now, I'm just putting it back out there.
Well, who's missing from the commission tonight?
Bill.
Bill. That's who you nominate. So-
He'll never, he
All
can't make
favors
yours,
say aye.
sister, yeah.
Aye.
We'll volunteer him.
Well, I'm told.
But yeah, it doesn't have to be decided now by any means, but, and like I said, if people don't care, I'm missing a lot of them, and I don't care. But if people care, then we can discuss.
I mean, I get the minutes, so
Yeah, all right. But like I said, I just wanted to be transparent that like, ooh, I don't go to a lot of them, that's all.
We appreciate it, Trish. Thank you. Thank you for performing your duties, even though you're not the official representative according to the town clerk, so you're good. All right. Dave, you'll keep us informed of anything exciting that the SROG minutes?
yes.
Yeah,
he keeps
a way closer pulse.
Perfect.
They've had a ton of turnover since Eugene left.
At Scrog?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whoever that, I don't know the name of that person, but. it's
You've
like-
got Ben Lovejoy now runs it,
No,
right?
now it's I think he left and there was another guy, now it's a female about to take over, so. That's not neither here nor there, but
Well, their staff does turn over.
it does.
So before I move on to number 8, which is usually Ron's item, we have in the audience Rory, our assistant town manager. And I believe, would you like to come up and have a conversation with us about the EDC?
Oh, no, I was just here for the.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I volunteered you. So Rory's been working with the Environmental Economic Development Commission, and we did meet in our previous planner with them last year, or 2 years ago. And so Rory's working with the EDC to kind of come together with a date so we all can meet and have a conversation on what would work best between us. What could we do to improve our regulations and help them, help us, kind of move business into town and stuff like that. So I guess when there's a date put together, we'll share it with everybody and see what we can do. So with that being said, sorry, didn't mean to embarrass you, Rory. Called you out of the audience, sorry about that. With that being said, we'll move on to number 8, adjournment. Adjournment. I know, I was just reading the candidates, what do you want me to do?
Enjoyment.
Okay, before we go into item 8,
Item 8, yes.
yeah, I'd like to thank you, Bob, for spearheading the rewriting of the multifamily housing district. There's been hundreds of hours in caucus meetings and phone calls, and we spent a lot of time on this. And it was a necessity. The requirements from the state were coming down, and we needed to get ahead of it. So I want to thank you personally for the amount of time you did on keeping the ball rolling. I'm sure it would be very easy to, I can get a lot of BTUs on this, just put it aside and, let it go to the way of kicking the can down the road. That being said, thank you again. And February 14 is coming. I know I've been getting a lot of abuse about
From the sage.
bring it to the attention of everyone, but miss it and see what happens. With that,
I'm planning on it.
I motion we adjourn.
Thank you, Ron, for those kudos. I really appreciate it. Thank you, commission members, for your patience in working with me to get this off the desk, off the table, and moving forward, so I really appreciate that. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thus ends the meeting.